Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're going to talk about Guardian Greaves and why I think and when this item is actually good. So, for us to understand Guardian Greaves, you have to look at the components that build it. So, it's a mech, arcane boots, and a recipe, a very expensive one, 1600.
If you like this kind of content, go to GamerzClass.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
The reason Greaves is good in my opinion, there are two good benefits of the item. The Dispel. The Dispel is really strong because it's instant. Whereas, U-Scepter, it dispels you, but you need to stay up in the air for 2.5 seconds. And the other part of the item that is really good is obviously the heal. It's 300 health and mana that you provide, but whoever is 20% or below in your team and around you gonna get extra 16 health regeneration and 10 armor. And 10 armor really is the key part. So we can see the two niches that this item can fill. So if you're playing against Nagas, Terrorblades, Svens, the extra armor when they are low can be really good. I think Sven might be not the best example, just because he's very bursty. He might kill someone from 40% HP to 0 before this extra boost comes in. But heroes like Naga, PL, that take a little longer to get kills, I guess heroes like Slark also come into this equation. They definitely struggle to fight versus Guardian Greaves because people feel much more tankier. Alright, we already established the two strong parts about this item. So, when are you building Guardian Greaves? Usually, the heroes that build mech in the first place are your offlaners and your position 4s and 5s. I think nowadays it's a little harder for position 5s to build Guardian Greaves just because of the hefty nerfs on gold that everyone got. So, it's much harder for a position 5 to finish a mech, to finish Guardian Greaves, but it can still be doable. And I think the biggest problem that I see is that some players, just like building mech, especially in low Mars, they are just used to build this one item, and when you see this very easy progression, when you already have Arcane Boots as a support and you already have Mag Guardian Greaves is there, you just buy the item and you spend 1600 gold in the recipe. Let's say you're against a Leshrac carry with a Zeus mid and some sort of Tidehunter. Their physical damage is very limited, and you're spending 1600 gold on an item that is not gonna do much, right? The Dispel versus Zeus is useless because he doesn't have a slow or a silence or anything that you want to take out. That's pretty much the same thing for Leshrac. He has a very short slow, and you don't want to buy the Guardian Greaves to dispel Gush from Tidehunter. That is a common problem that I see. People just get the Greaves because they have Mech and Arcane Boots, and I think this is not an item, the recipe is not worth that unless you're playing against a hefty physical damage lineup, or you're against, let's say you're against a Silencer, and you're a Tidehunter, and you want to be able to Ravage. If you buy U-Scepter, yeah, you might be able to dispel it, but it's gonna take a long time, and it's not like U-Scepter is that much cheaper. And on top of it, you're a Tidehunter, you want to fight with your team, the aura from Greaves just makes much more sense in your hero. And so I think that's pretty much it, but we should probably take a look on the heroes you want to build Greaves against. The global heroes with their abilities, I think, is just a given. So global silence, so silencer, pretty easy to understand. Long duration silences like Death Prophet can be, can be pretty easily counterable by the Greaves. I think that, let me think here. Any Orchids can be pretty easy to dispel with that item. So, your Huskars that slow from his ult is also pretty easy to dodge. The silence from Earth Spirit, overall silences and slows, or anything that might prevent your hero from using his abilities at a key point is good, and also the physical damage that we talked about. So this item can be pretty good, but don't just buy it because you have Mech and Arcane Boots, because the upgrade is not always going to be worth it. 1600 is pretty much the price of a 4-step or Glimmer Cape, and a lot of times, if you're just fighting against magic damage, the Glimmer Cape is going to be much more value to you and your team than increasing your heal from 275 to 300. That's not worth the recipe. I don't think there is a better hero to talk about Guardian Greaves than Chen. And the reason for it is really simple, actually. If you read his passive Divine Favor, he increases all health regeneration, all health restore by a percentage. In this case, it's 18%. So whenever you pop your Guardian Greaves, it's gonna heal people for 300 HP times 20%. So, in AoE, that is a huge increase. And as a hero that's just carrying minions around, a hero that wants to actually group up and, withstand a team fight and then push, it's always going to be amazing. You get the 16 health regen and 10 armor once we pour 20%, but that 16 is going to be more like 20 once you get that, and that's going to be amplified to everyone. And so it is, it does make a lot of sense to have the item, especially when you're playing against heavy physical damage heroes. In this case here, you have a TA and a Void Spirit, two heroes that, deal a ton of physical damage. The burst HP and the armor is always going to be nice. And yeah, I don't think there's much to it. Usually, Mech is going to be a good team fight hero, so supports that, are all about team fight always want to get it. Supports that want Arcane Boots just synergize the team fightness with the need for mana, and then Guardian Greaves can be good. There's also the Dispel part, which in this game particularly, I don't think is that important. You don't see any global silence. There's like those silences here. You cannot Dispel Echo. You cannot Dispel Lasso. Not with Guardian Greaves, at least. So that part of the item is not that good. I think that supports that are not Chen that are buying Guardian Greaves, usually they're buying because of that Dispel. So you're being dove by a Nature's Prophet with Orchid. You're being dove by, there's going to be a global silence and you need to react to the silence. So having that instant Dispel to actually do something about it can be game changing. But yeah, Guardian Greaves, pretty good on any hero that has a bunch of minions, any hero that just wants to group up with their team, because the team fight is just going to be much, much stronger and better. Enigma is one of those heroes that, against Silencer most of the time, really likes Greaves, because you get that instant Dispel and the ability to react, instantly. And you could be thinking, well, why not? Scepter is cheaper, but when you get Scepter, you have that 2.5 second that you're not doing anything. And a lot of the times as Enigma, you need that split-second black hole to get things going. So overall, it's not really a great item on Enigma. And then you might be thinking, well, what about Lotus Orb? It does get you that Dispel, and it's relatively the same price. And the reason I think Greaves is much better on Enigma is one thing we were talking about Chen. So Chen has a lot of minions, right? And Enigma, the same thing. So if you win a fight as Enigma, especially once you get that level 20, level 25, the extra armor on all of your creeps makes pushing much easier, because instead of dying to, let's say, 2 tower hits, your Eidolons might tank 3 or 4. And, once you have 6 Eidolons up, it means that, well, if they're tanking 2 extra hits and they're 6 units, they're tanking 12 hits. And so you're doing much more damage in a shorter period of time, because the lane creeps are not dying. And even the lane creeps have more armor now, and they will tank like a ton of extra damage. You have the actual heal on all of them. So, it's always good. In this game, he ended up getting Greaves much, much later. And that's because he has this Winter Wyvern hero that can cancel Black Hole even through BKB. So this is not one game where Enigma has the priority of going Greaves, although he does get it at the end, because, once you're level 25, it really, really makes your game a little easier. But it just goes to show, like a different hero that is not Chen that also really likes to get the Greaves. For, similar reasons. Obviously, you do have the minions, but Enigma doesn't have that increased heal ability in his own kit, but still always going to be really interesting to have. And I mean, the mech also makes you tankier, because once you go in with that BKB black hole, once the BKB is over, a lot of the times you can die as Enigma, but the mech, when you're with your team, can, especially when you're fighting inside the Midnight Pulse, just makes it really hard for the enemy team, because Midnight Pulse got buffed, and it's a really powerful ability. So yeah, I mean, I think Enigma definitely benefits from it a lot. You get the extra mana. Once you have Refresher, that double Guardian Greaves can be really good, so that you can get the second black hole off. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's always a pleasure. Have a good one. Bye.